It's my pleasure to welcome up on stage Ms. Jennifer Kattula, the Global Head of Agency Marketing for Facebook. Jen has a really interesting job. Her day job is helping brands and businesses see how they can push the envelope by using Facebook and by being social by design. So she's going to share some really interesting case studies and examples with you so you can see how you can better apply Facebook moving forward.
So my name's Jen Kattula, and I flew in from New York. I'm the head of global agency marketing at Facebook. And what that means is I work with brands and agencies all over the world to help them really understand how Facebook can really help their businesses. Prior to Facebook, just to give you a little bit of background, I actually worked at Microsoft for about 5 years and in the search space, and prior to that I was at American Express, Sapient, and PwC. So today we are going to talk about a few things. First, we're going to talk about the power of connection, so how people connect and why that's so important to your business. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about why Facebook and how Facebook can be a really beneficial part of your overall marketing strategy. We're going to talk about some practical reasons of how you can use Facebook. So I have some very tactical things for you to take away. And then what's next? So where is Facebook going? Where are we investing? And what are some resources that I want to leave you with? So let's get started. Okay, so people have been communicating since the beginning of time. This is part of our humanity. It's part of what makes people people. And the connections that people have between one another really haven't changed. But the pace at which the changes happen, it's totally exploded. And as we'll talk about later today, technology has really made this possible. So while the connections are the same, and the conversations are the same, the pace and the speed and the instantaneous nature in which we can communicate with one another has really changed. This is a map of connections between people all over the world. And last summer at Facebook, an intern made this in a day. We have things called hackathons at Facebook, and oftentimes these projects seem to happen. But as you can see, you'll see these blue lines that connect people. There are no walls or borders on this map. The borders of countries and continents are created by the sort of the heat map that was created by all of the connections all over the world. And this is sort of the first principle of Facebook. We're really trying to build a map of connections of people all over the world because people want to connect with people that they care about. And what we realized is that when people care about people that they care about, there's also sort of this demand for connecting with the things, the events, the photos, the places that they care about as well. So this sort of leads to my second principle, which is authentic identity. So on Facebook, I am me. I am no longer fashion girl 22 at AOL.com. Gone are the days of anonymity on Facebook. You can see where I work, you can see where I went to high school, you can see where I went to college, you can see some photos of myself. And authentic identity is such a key reason why people are connecting with one another. So I want to show you one of the recent updates to our Facebook profile, which really allows people to curate the experiences that they want to share with their friends and create more meaningful and rich experiences through their profile. Sound. Sound. There's really great music for this video, I promise you. We're just going to start again.
baby. You did it.
So Timeline will be rolling out to everyone around the world very soon, but as you can see, you can create these really rich, meaningful experiences for yourself, but also to share with your friends on Facebook. So that's the power of connection. So now let's talk about why Facebook. And the first thing I'll talk about here is just the staggering numbers of what we're seeing, the growth rate we've seen of people joining Facebook and engaging on Facebook. So right now there's 350 million people who use the Facebook platform through their mobile devices. We're seeing tremendous growth in countries where the PC isn't as relevant, like countries like Indonesia. There's 800 million people on Facebook right now, and that number just keeps growing. And the really amazing thing about Facebook is that 50% of people come back every day. We hit a day in September where there were 500 million people who logged into Facebook. And this number just keeps growing. You know, a lot of, if you've worked in digital for a while, you probably know that, you know, over time engagement rates seem to decline. And what we're seeing on our site is that engagement rates keep going up. And the good thing for us and the good thing for marketers in this room is that people are connecting with brands. But I'm going to go a step further here and share with you our mission for Facebook is to make the world more open and connected. And what this means for businesses is fundamentally we believe that businesses are going to be better in a connected world. So in addition to the numbers you just saw and being marketers in this room, you know you want to go where the consumers are. It's really evolving from a place where, you know, traditional broadcast media, it's evolving to sort of from the wisdom of crowds to the wisdom of friends. So marketing is changing, and what you'll see here is, you know, all of these iconic advertisements that are supposed to evoke emotion. They're supposed to make you connect with them in a really deep way, and they do an amazing job at that. But what else? But today, in sort of today's marketing world, we are influenced by our friends, and now we have this tremendous opportunity to take these recommendations through friends and really capitalize on them as a marketing community. And think about this, you know, think about the experiences you have in your everyday life. You know, if you go shopping, you want to go shopping with a friend, and you're going to take cues from your friend of what stores to go to or what clothes to buy, even more so than you will from a magazine or from a celebrity. Think about restaurants you like to go to. When I try to find new restaurants in New York City, I am always asking my friends because I want to find that next hidden gem, you know, that's hasn't really made it to the Yelp reviews yet, but is still really amazing. So these experiences and word of mouth and having this sort of word of mouth at scale can be very, very powerful. So if you think about sort of the traditional advertising model as bowling, where you throw the ball down the lane and you try to hit as many pins as possible, and then the ball goes out of play and goes down back up the alley. Think about marketing in today's world sort of like a pinball machine. You shoot the ball out there and people can add to it, add momentum, comment on it, share it. You can keep the ball in play for a lot longer and add a lot more value. And people connect to things they care about. So we talked before that people are connecting to people. People are connecting to brands. We're seeing more and more that people are connecting to brands that they care about on Facebook. And if you think about it at a really deep level, this is part of their identity. You know, they're connecting to songs, they're connecting to their hobbies, they're connecting to their sports teams. But brands are part of people's identity. It's really powerful. It's really powerful for us, and we can sort of consider that an essential connection on Facebook. So the brands connecting with their consumers and creating that permanent, deep, and long-lasting relationship. We're seeing brands all over the world. We have 96 of the top 100 brands on Facebook that are doing work with us. Here's two numbers. Last year, we announced that every single day on Facebook, 50 million people are connecting to a brand page, 50 million. This past September, we hit 100 million. So every single day, the numbers don't lie here, and every single day people are connecting with brands. So it's really a critical place for you to be when you're thinking about your marketing strategy and really thinking about baking Facebook in from the beginning. And so having a Facebook page and engaging with your consumers is very important, but does it work? And we see here with this Starbucks example, they have 25 million fans, and they know that their fans are spending more time in stores and transacting more frequently. So this does mean that they have more affinity to the brand, and they're actually putting their money where their mouth is. And that's a really important thing when we're in sort of an ROI-centric world today. We want to know where every marketing dollar goes. So I'm going to share with you a video from Levi's.
Levi's decided to use Facebook as a marketing platform because we feel like this is a critical component to engaging and fostering a relationship with our consumers. While we can see tangible results, such as sales-driving efforts that we do in the newsfeed, and they're very direct to Levi.com, we're actually more interested in the intangible results that we're getting in terms of overall brand health. Levi's saw Facebook as a critical component to the workwear launch. We used it to not just grow our connections on Facebook with exclusive content, but also get broad awareness. And then we used the newsfeed to curate that story and really tell a behind-the-scenes look at what the product line was. And then we drove sales directly to Levi.com once our consumers were open to it. The Levi's community on Facebook is upwards of 500,000 people. We find these people incredibly valuable to us. They are not just our brand advocates, but they're also our evangelists. Levi's is learning every single day from the community that we've built on Facebook. We learn everything from what products they want to hear about, what products they like, what offers or promotions they want us to run, and what content is really relevant to them. Levi's used the RSVP ad in order to really drive in-store traffic. The reason we used it is because we wanted to track the viral nature of what was happening. There was a 4 times viral lift in terms of what we were able to do with our ad spend and then what results we saw in foot traffic to the store. The best part about Facebook is that Levi's or myself doesn't have to predict the future. Our community of over 500,000 people will do it for us.
I love that case study because she talks about her fans being brand advocates and evangelists. So in addition to people connecting with brands, people are sharing content in a tremendous way. And they're also sharing ads. And for everyone in this room, this is just an awesome opportunity, and it's also a tremendous responsibility to be creating ads that are meaningful, that are relevant, that are useful. We sometimes sort of think about Facebook or Facebook Creative that, it's the salt that you sprinkle on the fries that you bolted on top after you've created your entire marketing campaign. And what I want to say to you is, bake that in from the beginning. Think about content that people are really going to want to engage in and really want to share. So I'm going to take you through an example from American Express. It's their Link Like Love campaign. So American Express created Link Like Love, where you can connect your American Express card to your Facebook account so you can very easily redeem offers. I'm a fan of American Express. They posted this on their page, and I saw it in my newsfeed. So it showed up in my newsfeed, and for all the fans, it may show up in the newsfeed. For the fans people that were not fans of Facebook, they used a page post ad here. And our page post ad actually makes it really simple for marketers to create content on their page and turn that content directly into an ad. So that ad will show to not only their fans, but can show to friends of fans or anyone within their target audience. And it really takes the ad creative process, makes it very, very simple. So I clicked on this, and it took me to the Link Like Love page on Facebook, which is an application. I found the offer I wanted, which was if I went to the Tory Burch store, and I spent $350, which is very easy to do if you know anything about Tory Burch, I would get $75 back. So I redeemed this offer. They made it very easy for me to confirm and to like or to share. So having that easy, very simple sharing is really effective on Facebook. And they also allowed me to send that message back into my newsfeed. And when that message goes into my newsfeed, it's just like me endorsing the American Express brand, the Link Like Glove campaign, and this particular offer. So I said, just like that, $75 in my pocket. And now you can see on this page, this is my friend Jeff's page. Showed up in his news feed. You can see the liking, the commenting, and the sharing that's happening. And so Jeff will see that. And for friends of mine that maybe miss that, because there's so much information that is going through the news feed, American Express can use one of our other marketing tools called Sponsored Stories. So that takes the story that I created that said $75 in my pocket and puts it on that right-hand side so it'll stay there for a little bit longer so all of my friends can see it, and that's only shown to my friends. So that's a really very seamless, very easy example to show you that, creating this content and providing meaningful experiences for your consumers is very easy, and then you can take those messages and those stories that are generated and boost them to fans, friends of fans, and pretty much the entire Facebook audience if you need to. So I'm going to show you another example from American Express. This is a video about their Small Business Saturday campaign from last year.
Our mission with Small Business Saturday was very simple. We just wanted people to shop at a small business. Over 2/3 of every dollar spent in a local business goes back to the local community. And we thought that was so profound, it's something we wanted to shout from the mountaintops.
So when we talked to our card members, they would say to us, the thing I hate most about this downturn is seeing a store on my main street that's been boarded up. We came up with the idea of creating a day during the holiday season where we could be encouraging consumers to go spend their time, their money with small businesses. And the first place that we all agreed was most important was going to be Facebook. Local businesses exist on Facebook. Consumers spend an enormous amount of time on Facebook. They're engaged.
The Facebook community really came together and said, I believe in supporting local businesses. They shared stories about businesses that they loved, your favorite pizza place, your favorite bike shop.
Not only were we able to get a fan base of 1.5 million people on Facebook supporting and liking Small Business Saturday, but when you think about their friend base, we're talking about over 100 million people being aware of Small Business Saturday. And we don't know any other way that we could have scaled that level of awareness and that level of engagement over a 2.5-week period. And it really gave us an appreciation for the potency of Facebook.
We had tremendous awareness among the general population in the neighborhood of 40%.
The small businesses involved in the effort saw a 28% increase in their business versus that same day a year before. For total retail, there was a 9% increase. So this was a 3-fold increase versus what total retail was able to see. That certainly made an impact. Facebook is a young company. Here you have a company that's only existed for a few years, and you've got another company called American Express that's been around for 161 years. And yet the ability of these two companies to partner together was pretty amazing to be part of.
And that's the kind of partnership that you want when you're developing something as grand as trying to inspire a nation. Facebook continues to be the heart of our community. It is not a optional piece of the equation. It is an essential piece of the equation. The possibilities that we can imagine at this point are infinite.
I got a number of phone calls at home about Small Business Saturday from people that I knew that are small business owners and saying, thank you. You don't always get to work on a project that you really feel like you're making a difference for an entire community.
So before we get into the how, I just want to reiterate something they said in that case study. The friends of fans. So if you have your Facebook page for your business, the friends of fans is so powerful, and the number of people that you can reach through that social context is so powerful. So let's jump into the how. So principles of social design. So Chike talked a little bit earlier about the social by design concept, and these are the principles that we use when we think about building campaigns that sit on Facebook, building experiences that sit on Facebook, and it's so powerful to be leveraging the friends and friends of fans. So the first concept is really putting people at the center. I talked about before, our authentic identities are on Facebook, so the whole experience is all about me. Nobody's Facebook page will ever look the same. No two people's Facebook pages will ever look the same. So when you're on Facebook, it's a very personal experience, so put people at the center. Make engagement simple and fast. So people are consuming so much content these days. They're consuming content on media, on TV, on radio, on their laptops, and oftentimes they're doing this all at the same time. So if the experience is not easy, people won't engage. The third principle is always include friends. So the reason I'm on Facebook is because my friends are there. It's like going to a bar and all of your friends are there. And I would not go to the bar next door if none of my friends were there. So if you include friends in the experience, it's so much more powerful in terms of effectiveness. And then lastly is make it scale. So a lot of times people think that Facebook is a free sort of medium, and it can be. It can be a very cost-effective place to be, but if you want to reach friends of fans, putting a little bit of media dollars behind it can be so effective in helping your message get out. So here's the tools in your toolbox: Pages, ads, and platform, and we'll talk about all three. Pages are really the foundation of your presence on Facebook. It's the hub where all of the communication will start from. And ads are how you amplify that message, and then platform is how you can bring your experiences out to the web or create very personalized and unique experiences. So let's start with Pages. This is an example from a TV show in the US. I'm not sure if it's made it here yet. It's pretty new, or at least I just found out about it. It's called Modern Family. It's very funny. But the point here is that you should use your authentic voice, the authentic brand voice that is natural and human. You can see this post. They've actually asked their fans to write copy for them. I think there's 3,200 likes and something like 2,700 people who have commented on this. People like to engage, and if you think about sort of the psychology behind that, people like to be heard. So questions really work. Here's another example from Levi's. So think about the content that you like to consume in your newsfeed from your friends. Think about what you click on. It's probably some photos, some videos. You like to hear news that's first. You like to see events from your friends or get invited to events. The same thing holds true for brands. So when you're thinking about the type of content, think about how to be engaging. And in this case, they're using a video. And then finally, what I'll say here is that the marketing strategy that you have on Facebook needs to hang with the marketing strategy that you have offline. So if you're running a promotion or doing a TV campaign or a print campaign, make sure those work together. So the great thing about Pages is that we just launched a new tool called Page Insights. And I actually use this tool every day. This is showing a page that I manage called Facebook Studio. And I'm not sure if you can see the metrics. They're probably pretty small. But it shows you the fans. It shows you the friends of fans you're reaching. I have 280,000 fans for my page. I reach, I think, something like 87 million people. It is so powerful, the number of people that I can reach. There's a new metric called people talking about this. This is the number of people within the last 7 days who have liked, commented, or shared a post. This metric is so important. It's no longer about, how many people do I have? How many good people do I have on my page? You can see every single post and how effective it was, what the engagement rate is, how viral was it, so that you can optimize the type of content that you're posting on Facebook. This gives so much transparency to the data, and it really gives you the power to put your brand and make your brand really sing on Facebook. So I'm going to show you an example from Nike where they launched a content through their Facebook page first, and it was very effective.
One of the most valuable things we learned from Facebook early on in the relationship, someone at Facebook said, make things that ignite the graph. And that's something that stuck with us is, really you have to figure out what are you going to do as a brand that's going to make people want to talk about you.
So the Right to Future film was a 3-minute piece of content which featured 6 of our top athletes around the world, experiencing what the future would be like based on their success or their failure in the most critical moments during the world's biggest football event.
We went and made this gorgeous masterpiece of this 3-minute film and made sure that the first people that could see it were fans of Nike football on Facebook.
And we introduced that to them 2 days before we introduced it to television or YouTube or the rest of the world. We premiered it on Facebook because we wanted to reward and connect with these communities that we've been building over the year. And to do so in a world that was familiar and in the language and using the tools they already know how to use. It wasn't a question of why would we need Facebook if we were already buying TV. It was a question of how do we maximize the landscape of media in a way that allows them to share it, allows it to be in their world, allows it to live beyond the 3 minutes that it shows on television. Putting it on the homepage of YouTube, putting it in an engagement ads with every single person on Facebook, those things are the things that made it go viral. The story we wanted to come out would be that a father and a son are watching the Champions League final, and the father says, "Wow, that's the most amazing ad I've ever seen," and the kid goes, "Yeah, I saw it this morning and I've already shared it with all my friends."
The beauty of Facebook is that it's both the broadest, most mass reach vehicle in the world, but it's also an extremely targeted channels for us. It's the new prime time.
The TV will get you that moment, that's that dynamite. But what Facebook enables is you translate that into connection. And that connection allows a continuous relationship. And that relationship is ultimately what we're looking for. We want to build a relationship with the consumer so that we can actually service them as an athlete and make them better. For me, one of the biggest objectives going in was to build these communities. It was to use this campaign as an investment as opposed to a spend.
I think when I look at Facebook and I look at the entire internet, I think the like button is the most valuable thing on the entire internet. And that idea of sharing and having it show up in someone's newsfeed is really the new currency of what people like.
What Facebook enables is it allows us to be in Colombia, it allows us to be in Ecuador, it allows us to be in Thailand, in the Philippines.
Having worked in digital at Nike for a long time, oftentimes we could see things are success in analytics reports or tracking studies or things of that nature. This was a very human success.
The part to me that was the most exciting is the fact that here we are as a brand saying write the future, and then we actually have this platform where kids around the world can create a fan page, and by getting noticed, then they actually have an opportunity to go professional. We have 100 kids from around the world, 4 from Colombia, 4 from Brazil, 4 from China, from the UK, from Chile. So we've actually created a real path to write your future. And to me, that becomes extremely inspirational in that you use the ad and people engage with our message, but it enable them to actually live their dream.
So, interesting fact about that campaign, Nike was not the sponsor of the World Cup, Adidas was, but Nike ended up getting more impressions during the World Cup because of that campaign. So it can be really powerful to use your page as sort of your voice to the world. So here's some practical takeaways for page best practices. First, like I said before, use your brand voice, find your brand voice, make sure that it's human, make sure that it's authentic. The second is optimize for the news feed. So the vast majority of content that people will consume will be in their news feed. They're not necessarily going to be coming to your page and hanging out on your page. So optimize for that news feed. The third is engaging content. So that just go back to what you like to consume from your friends. Photos, videos, questions, events, polls, things that are engaging, things that allow the person who's receiving that message to engage very quickly. And then lastly, align with your overall marketing strategy, whether that's from a seasonality perspective, from a promotional perspective, whatever you're doing in print or TV, you can always redistribute that content on Facebook very, very easily, and it aligns it. And people are consuming different forms of media at the same time, and oftentimes they're going on Facebook to find more information. So let's move on to ads. So this is an example of our new page post ad. And I mentioned this before with the American Express example. So the page post ad actually makes publishing and advertising together very, very, very simple. So if you have a publishing strategy like we talked about before with the page best practices, you can take that publishing strategy and really not do anything. You can boost the page post that you're already creating, whether it's a picture or a video or a question or an event, and you can turn that into an advertisement. And that advertisement can be distributed to whomever you want, to your fans, to your friends of fans, or to people within your target audience. And you can target very granularly with Facebook. The other point that I want to show you here is that you'll see, as this ad expanded, you'll see that there's social context on the top. So the first thing I see as a user is I see that Jim Squires likes this movie, Ides of March. I'm friends with Jim Squires. So automatically I see that there's social context, and automatically I have more affinity to that brand because of that. And if you think about content that you're consuming in your news feed, and you think about news articles that maybe you've read, and if more people have read them, you're more likely to want to engage with it. So this just goes back to sort of that natural psychology. And almost every single ad on Facebook has the ability to have social context. So I'll take you through this advertising evolution. We started out with just a like ad, where you would like a brand page. Then we found that people like to see their friends' names in the ads, and this is really effective from a marketing perspective. People tend to engage more, so we added names. Then we launched the page post ad. And we also have a marketing tool called Sponsored Stories. So anytime I engage with pretty much anything on Facebook, whether that be a check-in or an application or an event, or I like something from a brand page, that creates a story in my news feed. Now, not everyone's going to see that story in their news feeds because there's so much content being consumed, but you can boost that and put that on the right-hand side so it stays there for longer, and that's only shown to my friends. So social context is super effective, and you'll see this ad with social context on the left-hand side. We did a study with Nielsen that found that 68% of people are more likely to remember an ad with social context. 2 times as many are likely to remember the ad's message, and 4 times as many people are likely to purchase. So these are really powerful numbers, and I think that's, as a marketer, I want you to be able to help, move product off the shelf. And so that's what we're trying to get at here, is that we're moving brand metrics and we're moving sales metrics as well. So I'm going to show you a case study from Diageo where they actually moved a lot more off the shelf.
Diageo is the world's largest drinks company with a great portfolio of brands, from beers to wines to spirits. Before we as a company approached Facebook, we found there were literally hundreds of thousands of Bailey's consumers who were already on Facebook. For us as a marketer, it was fantastic. All we had to do was come and join the conversation. Authenticity is one of the things that Facebook offers us that not every media partner can. Consumers are already on the page. They're already talking about the brands, talking about other things in their lives. They're doing it because they like it and because it's cool. One of the things that's so great about Facebook is the ability we have to precisely target our consumers over the legal drinking age of 21. It's a great way to make sure we're being very socially responsible in the digital space. It's been a great learning journey so far in trying to understand what is it that consumers are looking for when they come to these individual community pages. The Captain Morgan consumers love seeing photos of people doing the famous Captain Morgan pose out in public. But the Smirnoff fans would rather see drink recipes. So it's really about experimenting to see what they respond best to, what gets the most engagement, what they start sharing. One of the great things we found on Facebook is the power of word of mouth. The real magic is reaching the friends of the fans, just how easy it is for consumers to engage with our content and then pass it on to friends. Just the incremental reach that we can have, often very quickly, in a way we haven't been able to do before. In a world of limited marketing dollars, we always need to find the place where we're going to get the most bang for our buck. Facebook's got a great partnership with Nielsen. So for us, it was the first opportunity to start to connect the dots between what people are doing on Facebook and what happens out in the real world. What we did in this case is we ran an advertising test on 5 of our brands. When we looked at the group of panelists who were exposed to the ads versus those who weren't exposed to the ads, we saw a 20% difference in sales. Nielsen showed us that we had a return on media investment of 1 to 5. It's great to see results like this in a nice controlled testing environment. But the exciting thing for us is where we go next. I mean, this is just the first step. We're going to keep partnering with Facebook. We want to keep learning and trying new things with the goal of being able to see results like these replicated out on a larger scale out in the real world. It's an exciting time to be a marketer these days. I often feel that Facebook is right at the heart of pulling all this together.
Great. So practical best practices to take away for ads. First is leverage your fans. I think someone said it in one of the earlier videos, they can become your advocates and your evangelists. They can do your marketing for you. And just like that pinball gets bounced around, they can really add a lot of value to the messages that you're already putting out there. The second is reaching friends of fans. So this is so powerful. If you can see that social context in your ads, it's more effective and people are more likely to engage with it and remember it. Number 3 are 2 questions that we actually ask. We actually ask agencies and brands to now put in their creative briefs. So one is, why will they care? This is what we call the engagement insight. Why will they engage with this particular piece of content? And the second is, why will they share? This is called our social insight. Why will they want to share that message with their friends? So I encourage you all to think about putting these in your creative briefs as you move forward. And the fourth is always on. So what I mean here is that you may go through, ebb and flow of seasonality. You may not be doing a campaign that's offline. You may not have a product launch at the moment. But that doesn't mean people are not talking about you. And so adopting an always-on strategy so that you can keep a pulse on the conversation and make sure that the messages that you want are in market and are resonating with your consumer base. So next we'll talk about the Facebook platform. So there's really 3 components of the Facebook platform. The first is social plugins. Social plugins are the ability to take Facebook out onto your website. So this is something like the like button or the share button, and we have more that are even more in depth. The second is Open Graph. So Open Graph is an application programming interface that allows you to tap into almost any piece of data on Facebook. With getting the user's privacy, they have to go through a privacy control dialog. And the last is applications. So applications are creating unique experiences either on Facebook, on a Facebook tab, or through our mobile canvas. So you can create the same experiences on your mobile phone. So here's an example from American Eagle. American Eagle put a like button on Facebook. And this is a very simple and lightweight way to have messages of what people are doing on your website pushed back into the news feed. So when somebody likes American Eagle or likes a piece of content on American Eagle, that story that they're generating is pushed to their news feed. And what American Eagle found is that Facebook users spent 57% more on AmericanEagle.com. The real power here, though, is the stories that you're generating to all of the friends of the people who are clicking here. The next example here is from TripAdvisor. So TripAdvisor did an Open Graph integration where they allowed users to log in with Facebook and go through the privacy dialog to access their basic information. And what they created was such a unique and personal experience. They've added to the travel experience by bringing their friends. So we talked about before, bring your friends with you. You leverage the friends. You can see a map now of where all of your friends have traveled to and see that information. Makes it such a rich and meaningful experience. And then the last example here is an application. So this is an application that JetBlue created. It's called a Canvas application. This doesn't sit on a tab on Facebook. And here they're creating this really unique experience that sits on Facebook where people can check in and you know where your friends are traveling and you can access certain promotions. So just to recap, the tools in the toolbox: pages, ads, and platform. And I encourage everyone here to start with pages. That's really the hub, and amplify with ads. And then those unique experiences can come through on platform. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's next. We had our F8 developer conference in September where we announced a whole slew of new Open Graph integrations. So if you think about it, you may like a brand, but you may want to engage in a different way with a brand. You may want to say you're listening to a song, or you're watching a movie, or you are reading an article, or you're running in the park. So I'm going to show you a video that kind of explains what our next wave of Open Graph integrations are. So now I'm going to talk about some resources that I have for you to take away. In April of this year, we launched a website called Facebook Studio, and the purpose of Facebook Studio is inspiration and education. So when I started a little over a year ago at Facebook, what I heard from brands and agencies was, I don't know what all of the possibilities are on Facebook. Your platform's changing all of the time, and I need sort of some inspiration to get started. So we launched this website with that in mind, and the website takes work from all over the world, from agencies all over the world that they submit in their own words. And since we've been up, now we have about 280,000 fans on the site. But the great thing is that we have over 300 different case studies that are not Facebook produced. These are produced by agencies and brands from all over the world. And they really give you that nugget of inspiration. So if you're in the auto category, for example, and you want to get some ideas about what to do for your next product launch, you can go onto Facebook Studio, click on auto, and see what other auto companies have done from all over the world. And sometimes it's just that nugget, that sort of thought starter that can help you get started with what is possible on Facebook. So I'm going to show you one last video of a case study from an agency out of Belgium. And the reason I love this case study so much, it was done by a very small agency called Duval Guillaume, and they did this campaign in Dutch. It was a relatively small campaign, and we wouldn't have discovered it unless they posted it to Facebook Studio. Oops. Let's do that again. Okay, we'll click through this again. So this case study from this agency, they actually won a Media Lion at Cannes, which we found out because they got recognition from Facebook Studio. So I don't know if this is playing. We'll just leave it at that. I encourage you to go to Facebook Studio and check out the Flair Fashion Tag campaign. And the reason I like it is it's grounded in a social insight that women like to check out other women's clothing. They get more inspiration from seeing other people, their friends, people on the street potentially, than they do sometimes from fashion magazines. So they created an application where instead of tagging people in photos, you can tag pieces of clothing. And that generated stories on the Flair page as well as in people's news feeds. And they would take the most interesting pieces of clothing and they would actually publish those to their offline magazines, sort of marrying the online and offline experiences, which was really interesting. And so, it's just this nugget of insight that can definitely be applied to other verticals. Now, when agencies submit work, that's shown in our gallery here, and so you can sort through by any sort of different dimension that you'd like. So I talked about education and inspiration. We also have a blog. So Facebook platform changes a lot, and we want everyone in this room to be up to date. So this is the place to go to get all of the latest and greatest product information. We do agency spotlights. We feature people and interview people from Facebook, so you can sort of get more of an in-depth look at what's happening. This is actually an agency spotlight from an agency in Israel called Publicis Ideologic. And they've actually submitted a lot of great work onto Facebook Studio, which has been very innovative, and I encourage you to check it out. What they told us is that they started to get some new business inquiries from the site, so that was really encouraging. And we definitely want to recognize and reward all of the great work that we're seeing on Facebook. It's been an incredible journey. So we're actually launching, we announced in October, we're launching a new Facebook award. So this is an award that recognizes innovation, creativity, and social by design. We're taking submissions through the end of December. This is for, anyone can submit their work, and we're looking for sort of 4 criteria. And you've heard this through my presentation so far. Is it social? Does it leverage the Facebook products? Does it work with other forms of media? And does it scale? So we're really excited about this, and at the very least, I ask you to just check it out and learn more and take a look at the site. So I'm going to leave you with one last slide. This is a poster that we have up at Facebook in Palo Alto. And this really gets back to the heart of our engineering culture. We're a technology company. We move fast. We host hackathons, which are all-night coding sessions. And the point here is take risks, try things, iterate, learn, and don't be afraid. You know, you may get some constructive feedback or negative feedback from people on your Facebook page, through other social media channels, and that's okay. That's actually an opportunity to take that and take control of it and come back with an even more positive message to have an even better customer experience. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you. I did not bring any business cards, so that's my email address.